All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking the sheer scale and the intensely multi-layered digital ecosystem of the K-pop Demon Hunters franchise. We're looking at a literal masterclass in how modern intellectual property doesn't just, sit quietly on a streaming platform anymore. It fractures, it multiplies, and it takes on a completely wild life of its own across the internet. And we're going to be using a localized YouTube footprint to figure out exactly how this massive digital machine operates.
So what exactly happens when K-pop, demon hunting, and the YouTube algorithm totally collide? To find out, we're going to use a single YouTube snapshot. It reveals how just one simple video recommendation acts as a gateway to this massive, global, fan-driven juggernaut. I mean, if you look at the sidebar of any official video for this franchise, you aren't just seeing official clips. You're seeing an algorithm working absolutely overtime, serving up this bizarre, brilliant collision of music, mystery, and fan-made creations.
But before we really dive into the numbers, we have to look at the hook. This is the core premise of the show, featuring characters you already know, like Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, living a very intense double life, right? On side A, you've got the super glamorous, highly produced world of selling out stadiums as K-pop superstars. But then on side B, they're using secret powers to protect those same fans from supernatural threats. It is a killer dual identity narrative that provides endless fuel for the imagination. And, as we're about to see, the internet took that fuel and started an absolute wildfire.
Section 1. The K-pop Demon Phenomenon, a localized launchpad. Okay, let's start right at the surface level. Take a look at the official Netflix India channel. Right here we have 6.9 million views. That's what the Hindi music video for Soda Pop by the fictional group Saja Boys has pulled in over just 10 months. Now, by traditional metrics, approaching 7 million views for a localized, regional release of a fictional, animated band song, that is a massive win for sure. It proves there's a highly engaged, super dedicated audience in that specific demographic.
But prepare yourself, because when we zoom out to the official Soda Pop lyric video, the one released by Sony Pictures Animation about 11 months ago, we hit a mind-boggling 750 million views. Just sit with that number for a second. 750 million. We go from a highly successful regional localization at almost 7 million to 750 million on the main global track. This huge disparity perfectly highlights the monumental scale of the primary asset when you stack it up against its regional counterparts.
Which brings us to Section 2, millions of views multiplied, the true scale of the iceberg. Let's see how this builds out.
Because that initial localized success, it is barely a fraction of the actual global viewership. And this brilliantly illustrates the vast ecosystem we're talking about. You've got the localized Netflix India release sitting at 6.9 million, and the official global track way up at 750 million. But smack in the middle is a fan-made female cover of Soda Pop by a creator named Milky Melodies. That single, unofficial fan cover pulls in a staggering 51 million views of its own. It completely dwarfs the localized official release. The franchise has gotten so huge that unofficial, derivative content is casually generating audiences that most traditional TV shows could literally only dream of.
Section 3. What happened to Rumi, the fan animation lore community? Now this is where things get really interesting, because a central dramatic mystery has completely hijacked the fan community. If you look at the recommended feed, the algorithm is absolutely flooded with high-stakes fan animations. We are seeing creators like Akita Tunes generating 1.2 million views on a video simply titled, "What Happened to Rumi?" And then they follow it up with, "Rumi has only 24 hours to live," for another 1.5 million views. Other creators like Nova Animation and Chokowani are pulling hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, of views by obsessively trying to figure out Rumi's fate. They're introducing secret sisters, ancient spirits, and hidden truths. Basically, they're filling the void between official seasons with their own intense animated speculation.
And the storytelling gets incredibly specific. Take the channel Rumi High, for example. They're pushing narratives like high drama, Jinu publicly humiliated Rumi, then watched her become a legend. Fans aren't just sitting around waiting for the next season. They are aggressively writing their own deep, high-drama narratives that expand the character lore way beyond what the studio officially releases. They're literally building out complex interpersonal conflicts and redemption arcs that exist entirely outside the official canon, yet they still generate tens of thousands of highly engaged views.
Moving to Section 4, the DIY doll economy, crafting the universe.
The crucial point here is that this engagement doesn't stop at digital storytelling.
Actually, scratch that. It completely spills over into a massive physical crafting subculture known as the Huntrix Glow-Up. This is a DIY video trend where fans take the aesthetics of the Huntrix group and spend hours, building custom, elaborate outfits. We're talking fluffy cardboard constructions and intricate diamond dresses for K-pop Demon Hunters dolls. A single hour-long video by Lulacorn DIY showing off a fluffy, cardboard, and diamond dress craft pulled in over 783,000 views in just 3 weeks. And then you have channels like Lollycrafts building entire Rainbow Family K-pop big doll houses. This is highly tactile, physical engagement, but it's driven entirely by digital IP.
And if you keep scrolling down this bizarre rabbit hole, the franchise mutates into some truly surreal internet content on the algorithm's outer edges. You've got dubbed videos of demon hunters turned into K-pop mermaids pulling in 63,000 views. You've got completely unhinged, high-energy content like Do Not Open Mystery K-pop Demon Hunters Vending Machine Packs at 3 a.m. by Dr. Light, grabbing over 500,000 views in just 6 days. And of course, the classic internet staple, 30 Shocking Secrets About Huntrix. It just goes to show that once a world is truly established, the internet is going to stretch its aesthetics into literally every conceivable viral format.
Let's tie this all together in Section 5. A global digital footprint, the unofficial franchise masters.
This brings us to the ultimate realization about how modern global franchises actually operate on platforms today. When you map out the whole space, the ecosystem becomes incredibly clear. That massive slice of official studio content, like that 361 million view official song compilation by Netflix Family, it sits right side by side with intense animated lore, auto-dubbed fan theories in multiple languages, and these incredibly niche DIY craft trends. It's like a giant puzzle, right? It creates a massive, self-sustaining loop. The official content provides the aesthetic and the initial spark, but the fan lore and the viral trends, they provide the daily, sustained oxygen that keeps the algorithm recommending the franchise to brand new viewers constantly.
And chronologically, it is just fascinating to watch this cascade happen. 11 months ago, Sony Animation drops the official lyric video and boom, hits 750 million views. A month later, Netflix India localizes the launch, grabbing almost 7 million views. Fast forward to 3 months ago, and the fan animation community is fully carrying the torch, with What Happened to Rumi hitting 1.2 million views. And then, just 3 weeks ago, the DIY doll Diamond Dress Craft hit 783,000 views. You see the pattern? A massive official drop cascades into regional localization, which then totally shatters into an endless sustained stream of fan lore and crafting months and months down the line.
So as we look at the sheer scale, the timeline, and the weird, wonderful variety of all this content, we really have to pause and ask the most important question of this whole explainer: why does this all matter? Why should we care about 3 a.m. vending machine videos and animated fan theories?
Well, it matters because this clearly proves that today's biggest hits aren't just passively watched anymore. The days of simply broadcasting a show and walking away are completely over. Fandoms don't just consume, they multiply, they localize, and they permanently reshape the original IP. They take a story about K-pop demon hunters and they turn it into an entire digital economy of crafts, mysteries, and auto-dubbed international lore. You're looking at a highly motivated global audience doing the heavy lifting of franchise expansion for free.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to consider. The next time you click on a catchy K-pop track, or maybe you fall down a total rabbit hole of dramatic lore videos on your recommended feed, ask yourself, are you just a viewer, or are you actively helping to build a modern digital mythology? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today, and hey, keep your eyes on the algorithm.